if I had a steak, I would fuck it. Clearly the standout line from the movie, if you ask me.
I know, we always, like, decide what we want to, if we want to open on a quote or not, and, like, unanimous across the board, if I had a steak, I would fuck it. Like, absolutely. No doubt about it.
I thought about memorizing Willem Dafoe's monologue that happens right after that. Just screaming hark into the mic. Yeah. Hark!
Hark!
Absolutely brilliant.
But hey, what's up? Thank you for listening. If you've listened before, welcome back. If you're new, hi, this is The Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And we have a guest. What? Twice in the same month? Well, wait, not the same guest, but 2 guests 1 month? That's crazy. Is that crazy for us? I don't know. It feels crazy to me. But Emily, would you like to introduce your lovely roommate?
Yes, this is the lovely,
I'm
talented,
the other roommate.
Yeah, Matt Bacon.
I am Matthew Bacon.
Oh my god. And you were like, you've been booked in the sketch for whenever we did Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, I'm on the books for to be on the Swamp because the two of you had the most miraculous Halloween costume. You did.
Yeah.
You did that. Like, you did the Lighthouse, and it was spectacular, wonderful, beautiful, everything.
Yeah, we'll have to post a picture of it when we put this episode out. It was by far probably one of my favorite Halloween costumes that I've ever had.
I sadly cannot grow the mustache for it.
Yeah, Matt tried to grow the mustache because I was Willem, and so obviously I can't grow a mustache, unfortunately, or a beard as just brilliant as Willem. So I got to have a fake one, but Matt committed for like basically over a year to trying to grow the mustache,
and it didn't work. It just didn't work.
I love a Halloween costume that starts as like a seed in your mind and like an August afternoon, and you're like, I have to transform my body for this role.
I have to stop sleeping. I have to start drinking oil.
Go really method for your Halloween costume.
Honestly, it's the
Poop in a
commitment. But you're here for the Lighthouse. Oh, and we're talking about the Lighthouse. A24 April. We're finishing A24 April. I'm realizing how hypocritical we are because we were gonna do Swiss Army Man, and then we swapped it out for Everything Everywhere All at Once because I was like, we can't do 2 movies by the same director, and here we are fucking doing another
Robert Eggers.
What's his name? Robert Eggers in the same month because we started, but it's oh my god, that's stunning. Robert Eggers, Matthew Bacon.
Yeah. To be fair, though, both of our guests this month picked these movies, so this wasn't by our design.
That's true. That's not on us. But I rescind my statement about not wanting to be repetitive about directors because here I am.
I do have to give credit to Matt for this month's theme because I did not come up with this. It was literally all him. He said, "Why don't you do A24 April?" I said, "We're doing that."
So, what's like your personal relationship history with this movie? Why does it ring your bell? Does it toot your horn? Like,
you take it away.
Well, we saw the movie in theaters.
Yeah. It was one of those ones that, like, I think we were kind of like, oh, we should, like, we want to see something, but we didn't, like, know what to see, because there was a couple of good ones out.
Yeah,
so
but
like,
I remember The Lighthouse because I sent you a trailer for it in the summer, and I was like, this looks crazy, and you had already seen it.
Yeah.
So I was really excited for it to come out, but I don't know. I think it just radiates, an energy of just male crazy, male men together.
Just guys being dudes.
Literally, there's no other way to describe it other than just guys being dudes. Like, especially when it starts getting to, like, all, like, the montage, like, bits of, like, them drinking and them doing stuff and being friends. I'm like, this is how it is. Like, this is how it is with, like, my freshman year dorm.
My favorite thing was when we were watching this last night, you kept looking at me and you were like, I just like when they're friends.
When they're nice to each other, it's so fun.
Yeah, when they're dancing together.
Yeah, and when they're like,
oh my
when
god,
they swap pipes, the other one has a cigarette and they start talking. Like, it's just, I don't know, good vibes. And then they're fighting, and then they're dancing, and then they're fighting, and then they almost kiss. And it's like, oh my god, like, am I home with the guys?
We've all been there, right?
I've never had more gender envy than, like, sea shanties with the boys. I just wish. Like, sea shanties with the boys just sounds like, oh, I know I can never truly have that. But when you stomp around, when you just drink some turpentine and you stomp around, it just seems nice.
Yeah.
I just love putting an axe in my friend's head. It's so fun.
As much as, like, this movie is for the boys and all that stuff and is about the boys, it also is, like, gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
Truly, I regret not putting this movie in our Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss month because the gaslight
The
is
entire
present
movie.
in this movie. I think I've only seen this maybe once or twice before my rewatch for this podcast. I remember watching it with my mom, which was like really interesting. And I feel like we like rented it and we watched it at our house, so I didn't see it in theaters. But I remember like literally sitting on the couch next to my mom while the fish pussy happened. And I remember being like, I don't know, I kind of like it, and she was like, nope, I did not like this. I did not like this.
Yeah, this seems far off of Jen's vibe.
No.
I think my mother would burn to ashes if she saw a fish pussy.
Do we want to give a quick recap, though? I mean, it's not a lot happens.
But so
I
much,
think so much happens.
It's like so much happens, but it's like the gritty details, and we'd be here for hours just recounting it all.
Like the monologue, and then he turns into like Neptune, and he's got corals on his forehead. Like what?
Just brilliant.
Then he fucks the lighthouse. I don't know, but
Two best friends get dropped off for work in the morning, and they have their little lunches packed with them.
and the guys from the night shift come out and they say, "Bye, see you next month." And they say, "Good fucking luck."
I was talking to Emily about this. Like, the other two just left, and like, why did they leave the place in like such shambles as it was? Like, why did Robert Pattinson have to like break apart the entire like place and like redo the house and like repaint the thing? Why didn't the guys before do this?
Those are literally just menial tasks made up by Willem Dafoe because why the fuck did he have to paint the lighthouse? It's just gonna rain.
Like hair, yeah.
Why would he have to paint the lighthouse? I don't. These are just. He just wanted to boss him around. So he's like, dude, you have to carry this barrel of oil up the steps and then carry it back down for no reason.
Yeah. But basically, I mean, like, the general whole thing is, like, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are two lighthouse keepers, wikis, if you will, off of, I think it's Canada is where it takes place.
Yeah.
Off of this lighthouse.
Maine.
Off of
Maine,
Maine.
okay. Off of, like, way, way, way far off the coast in Maine. And Willem Dafoe is like the head lighthouse keeper, basically. And Rob's new to the job. And like Dara said, like, Willem's just given him menial tasks to fucking keep him busy. You could already tell Rob's pissed about it. And like the whole
He's like, so here's the situation. I only have one leg, so I get to hang around and drink while you do all the manual labor, and then at night, I get to fuck the lighthouse. And you don't even get to look at the lighthouse. I get to fuck the lighthouse. You have to do all the manual labor. You have to paint the lighthouse, but you don't get to fuck it.
And, like, they hate each other, but when they're drunk, they're friends, and it divulges into, like, this whole chaotic push and pull between the two of them. And there's a mermaid with a fish pussy.
A pussy, if you
will. And is Robert crazy? Is Willem crazy? We don't know. But it sort of divulges into, like, madness when, like, their boat never comes to pick them up, and it's full of gaslighting, and eventually Willem ends up with an axe in his head, and Robert finally gets to fuck the light, and then everyone dies.
Well, he only gets an axe
and then
in
he
the
gets
head.
plucked.
Yeah, and then he gets plucked.
He only gets an axe in the head after he gets walked around like a dog on a leash.
Oh, this movie? Okay, can we dive in just, like, from the start? This movie is kinky and erotic.
Yeah.
Horny film. I texted Emily before this and I was like, I'm gonna say something I might regret because I'm gonna act up when we have to talk about this seagull scene because the way Robert Pattinson beats the shit out of that seagull, ooh,
Why is it
hotter
erotic?
than anything in the Twilight movies. Like, as a young teen, the desire I felt for him as Edward pales in comparison to how I feel in this moment while I watch him mutilate this seabird.
Fucked up. It's so
It's
fucked
hot.
up. But like, see, I think my favorite scene of this movie, I mean, honestly, second to the fish pussy, because that's just really creative on Robert Eggers. Who decided? Why is it so big?
Yeah, it was grossly big.
Anya Taylor-Joy was like, can I be the mermaid? Like, the mermaid's not, like,
This.
it's not a lot going on. Like, can I just be the mermaid? And he was like, oh, no, honey, you do not want to be this mermaid. And she was like, oh, okay. And he's like, that's all I'll say, but just, like, I'm telling you, you don't want to be this mermaid. Like, this mermaid's gonna have her pussy out. Like, you don't want to be this
Trust me,
mermaid.
you don't want to have that pussy on you, dude. But like the disaster baiting scene. Oh my god, honestly, best acting out of the entire film. I didn't know someone could.
Wait, when he's jerking off to the scrimshaw, the little
Yeah,
How'd
he
you know the
starts-
name
the
of
little
it?
carving?
That's like a what? The scrimshaw.
Because I'm well versed in my nautical art history. A scrimshaw is when you carve a little token out of like a whale bone.
Okay.
It's a little scrimshaw.
Okay, wait, did you say he was thumbing it?
He was thumbing it.
I was gonna say, he was like full on, when he was jacking off, he was like feeling its vagina, like with his thumb, and I was like,
He's sitting there. He's like, I can't believe this guy didn't carve a pussy into this. But
and then he just lets out the most guttural fucking scream on the planet.
Dude, I didn't. That's like, it's just like the scene is like insane. It's absolutely insane. Like the fucking montage and everything like that. And Willem's there, and then there's the guy that he killed in his past, and then there's the mermaid and all that shit. It's just, it's a lot, and it's so overwhelming. And then it just ends with Robert Pattinson disaster baiting so fucking hard. And they like, I think I looked at you when we were watching this, and I was like, I didn't know a human could make that sound. Like the scream he lets out is like,
it's like normal,
animalistic.
and then it goes like, ew. It sounds like a weird, like, hurt whale.
Oh my god, the spirit of the whale whose bone was sacrificed for this mermaid carving is channeled through his erotic moan.
It's saying, stop!
Oh my god. I love when being interviewed about this movie, because obviously these are like wild performances from both of these actors. Like both these actors have proven themselves to be like committed to doing some wild shit, crazy roles, whatever. But like obviously this movie is like very much a character study, because they're the basically, other than this mermaid who shrieks, they're the only two like characters with any sort of development speaking roles, whatever. But so when they were asked about it, Robert Pattinson was like, oh yeah, I had to like practice like a lot. Like I had to practice a lot to act like that way. And Willem Dafoe was like, yeah, I just kind of like winged it. He's like, you know, theater background. I just showed up ready to yell. Like, but I was just like, I'm imagining like him in his little trailer in Nova Scotia in the pouring rain, just being like, all right, what sound am I gonna make at the apex of this scene? Like what is the most questionable, like guttural, disgusting, but also kind of hot, like moany.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Pattinson like sitting in like his like nice like little robe. He just took a shower
He's just
in his thing, and he's just screaming. He's like, oh, I didn't like that one. And he's like, Willem. And there's Willem sitting across from him. It's just
What
like,
do you think?
What do you think of this scream? It's like, what if I put a little bit more sadness into it?
Like, of course Willem Dafoe showed up to fucking set and just winged it. Like, you could tell. My favorite thing was, like, watching this, and I was sitting there, I was like, you know, like, we were talking, I mean, he did all of his own stunts for fucking Spider-Man. I was like, I bet he did all of his own farts for this movie.
I thought you were gonna say that he wet method and he fucked the Lighthouse. Because honestly, so they filmed this movie in like 34 days.
Really?
Or something pretty short. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like one setting, like one basically minimal costumes, just very like dialogue heavy. So it makes sense to me that it would take place in kind of a short period of time. But they filmed it in Nova Scotia, and I guess the weather was like shit, like such shit that like everyone was like, yo, like we should like stop filming. And Robert Eggers was like, no, this is perfect, like we need to be out in the 0 degrees in the fucking rain because I need everyone to be miserable because that's the vibe. And everyone was like, ugh. So everyone was pissed that like basically they weren't willing to like stop or like, you know, make accommodations. He's like, no, like, you don't get to be an A-list actor right now. You have to be a fucking wiki.
I love
Is that like method directing?
Yeah, for real. One of my favorite things in this movie, though, like, kind of circling back to the masturbating scene, is that, sorry, we're gonna be on this. Willem Dafoe was right to gatekeep the light. If Robert Pattinson can't even hold his shit together, like regularly masturbating, he could not handle getting fucked by the light.
But no, I was thinking about this. Honestly, I would be pissed too if he said that I couldn't go into the light. I think if I was at this job and he was like, you can't go into the light, I'd be like, fucking why not? I would be just as pissed.
Well, yeah, especially after you watch him basically get fucked by the light.
Yeah, after I see his goopy gob come down from the shaft, and then I look up and it's
a tentacle
video.
Oh my God. Here's my thing is that this movie, the entirety of this movie is just what would be happening if men could have, like, multiple consecutive orgasms like women. That's what this is. This is a study of, like, what would happen if that was the case.
Yeah, but these guys have already gone through all of their loads already. They're puffing out dust at this point.
Not with that goopy gum.
I was gonna say, that was his last one. After that, it goes...
No, like I said, I understand Willem's point of view in that aspect. He's like, this kid doesn't get it. He can't handle it.
Okay, but, like, honestly, though, he's been doing this. He's paid his dues. Like, I know he really talks up how much he, like, was a fucking sailor or whatever, and that maybe was not the entire truth, but the man only has one leg. He is old. He is withered. Let him have this. Like, let him have this one thing.
He's only got so much to pump out at this point.
At this point.
Yeah, no. I think it's so funny that I'm like, that Robert Pattinson just goes to the shed to jack off, too.
Well, what? He's not gonna do it by the bedpans.
Oh my God. That was the
But he
most...
could...
Oh my God. No, please.
I was gonna say the bedpan was gross, but I was like, he could, at the beginning of the movie, he has the little cut in his mattress that he could pleasure himself
yeah,
with.
Willem's fucking doing it.
And Willem is
Oh my
grinding on
God.
his hand.
I don't know, though. Like, a month? I mean, I know, obviously, at a certain point, time becomes kind of irregular, and we don't really know how long they're there for. But basically, at the end of the month, they're like, oh, the boat's not coming to pick us up because of the storm, and also we're out of rations. And then they go to find the extra rations that are buried, and it's literally just gin. And so how long can people live off of gin? Well, they drink all of it, and then they start drinking oil. And so, I don't know. And then they die. So what is that, like 3 days? So it's like a month and 3 days. At what point during a month and 3 days do you break and
fuck your mattress
and jack off and fuck the mattress? Like, it's just not happening.
I feel like you gotta be like multiple months in at that point.
I was gonna say,
Right?
like, honestly, like, these guys must be, like, super horny then. Like,
Yeah, for real.
could, like, most men, I don't know. Back then, when there was no porn addiction, I feel like most men could probably get off without jacking off for a month.
Yeah. No, Robert was fucking...
Robert, they both went there looking for sex. I think it was like wikismeet.com, and they were... Like they both went there looking for something.
Listen, they could have had it all. They came so close to kissing.
They did have it all. Did you not watch the movie?
Okay. It's like, at what point do you fuck your mattress? But, like, at what point do you just, you're like, bro, like...
I was gonna say, at what
sex?
point do you fuck your friend?
Bro, you know Willem was like the one that was like open to it too. He was just waiting for Robert to initiate it.
But we were saying how we kind of think that Pattinson's character may have been like a little like secretly fruity.
Yeah, I mean, Dara, did you get that from like the whole interaction with because it's the whole thing of like he basically killed his last boss and everything
I think it was
like
his boss.
that.
I think it was just his coworker.
Yeah,
just a coworker,
just a homie.
But like, you know what I mean?
He also literally asked
And also,
him,
it's
it's
like-
like, do you ever feel shame when you lie with a woman?
True.
And then Pat says, yeah, I mean, Defoe is just like, never.
Yeah, it's like, fuck no. Fuck that shit. I fuck bitches. But no, I mean, this movie's obviously so homoerotic. Like, they have the almost kiss, but that's like very much with like the ups and the downs of their power struggle. And then he parades him around like a dog, which is its whole other kinky can of worms, like to get into. But I don't know if like outwardly fruity is how I would read the character,
Struggling.
but definitely like, definitely like identity-wise, feeling very unsure
say
in all aspects.
There's that tweet where it's just like men will say they're fighting their demons, but it's just bisexuality. And I feel like that's that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
When you've established that Willem Dafoe is your father figure, but now you're getting kind of horny, so you're feeling a little mixed up about it.
Yeah, and he says this as like, "You're not my father," and it's like okay, daddy issues too.
He's got a lot to deal with in this.
And he decides one man for a month is who I'm gonna unpack it with.
Oh my god, no. The most relatable thing about this movie is that I too, when I get hammered, start spilling my guts to anyone who will listen.
I think you mean spilling your beans.
Yeah, Kevin spilled her beans on multiple occasions.
Spilling your beans.
I'll tell you anything and everything about me if I'm more than like 5 drinks in.
I do that when I'm sober, so good on you. I'm like, oh, it's time to info dump. It's time to overshare. Oh, me. But I watched this movie with some other people, and they were like, and the subtitles were like automatically on because that's how the TV is set to be all the time. They're like, oh, do you mind if I like turn the subtitles off? And I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Like, if whatever. But then as soon as Willem Dafoe started talking, I was like, oh, you're gonna want to put these back on because you're gonna want to catch all these. You're gonna want to catch all these little seamen. Seamenisms. Like, you're gonna want to catch all these little seamenisms, and you are gonna lose them unless the subtitles are present. But the amount of times that parentheses squelching.
I don't want to think about that.
Just,
oh my god.
It's just a myriad of context. Like squelching after squelching, but like rapid, like it's violent. Now it's sexual. Now it's pissing, shitting, farting, coming, crying, throwing up, screaming. Like, it's squelching.
I have to say about like masturbation in like male masturbation in movies. In every movie, it always sounds so aggressive and so wet for some reason. Like it just sounds like it sounds like you're eating like a wet sloppy Joe. And like that's not what it sounds like. Like no man is just ripping out his dick and it sounds like sweaty and wet and just like wet.
Yeah, no, it's because wikis have tentacles for dicks.
And so it like aggressive. Yeah. Like I'm only one man. But I don't slap my shit. I don't go all the way down. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I don't hurt myself. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm missing out.
Robert Pattinson doing.
It's every movie where a guy jacks off. It's just so gross.
It's so aggressive,
and it's not.
Okay, because what are we supposed to do? Sit in silence with them? No, I want a little zest. I want a little flavor. I want a little something to work with.
Like,
you gotta use your imagination.
I feel like seeing the movements on screen is enough.
Hearing Robert Pattinson's feral screams did it.
I'd rather hear Robert Pattinson grunt a few times in silence than hear a wet slap. I think that would be more appealing.
Notes for Robert Eggers.
I will stand by the... Yeah.
Next movie, more grunting.
Oh, I think there probably is.
Well, The Northman, I'm pumped. It's out now, as we record this, and as this gets, released, it's out now, which is pretty exciting because we discussed it a little bit when we talked about the Vavitch, but now it's like fully in action, and it's getting pretty good reviews, so I'm really excited to see it. But yeah, I'm willing to bet that there's some grunting in that. That movie's also about primal male urges. What is this is like a theme, I feel. is about like men doing chores and feeling existential about doing chores. Is like really consistent through Robert Eggers films, right? Because it's like in The Witch, the dad is chopping the
like
wood,
men being
and then
men.
he's like, is the devil in my children? I need to sort this out. Let me chop wood. And this is like Robert Pattinson being like, I'm sorry, Ephraim. This
Ephraim
is Ephraim
Winslow?
being like, Ephraim Winslow being like, am I having gay thoughts? Let me paint a lighthouse about it.
Do you know Ram Ranch?
No.
Oh. It's this really stupid song where it's just like 16 cowboys. You go to Ram Ranch to suck off like 16 cowboys at once. And these are all guys that just, I think, go to Ram Ranch. The dad, Ephraim Winslow. If people know what Ram Ranch is, I think they'll know what I'm talking about. These are all guys that you would see there in every one of these movies.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to show me later because I'm
It's
so lost.
ridiculous.
But if we're lucky, Alexander Skarsgård playing a Viking looking to get revenge. Hopefully there's some
so
chores.
excited.
Hopefully there's some. It's gonna be sexy. It's gonna be
Willem
impressive.
Dafoe
It's gonna be toxic
Willem
male
Dafoe's
energy.
also in this.
He's in that too. Yeah.
I think he also barks like a dog in this. In the new one. So.
No, wait. Speaking of barking, like, I saw a clip of who's the main guy? Skarsgård? No.
Ethan Hawke
Yeah.
No.
plays his dad, but Skarsgård is like the main character. Yeah.
I just saw a 5-second clip of him just like growling at a dog, and I was like, oh. I was
Is
like,
this a theme? Is this a Robert Eggers theme?
man faces off against animal?
Man feeling absolutely carnal.
Well, because isn't it the man and the goat,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
the man and the bird, and then now the guy
Yeah.
and the dog in this movie?
Oh wow.
I want to do it. Can we get him on the pod? Like, I have some questions. I have some very pointed questions for this man. I don't care about the parallels between this movie and Prometheus. I don't give a shit. I want to know what beef does he have with a particular animal, because it's translating.
Do you think it has
for
anything to
film.
do with like furry stuff, like anti-furry stuff?
Oh, you've cracked it! You've cracked it!
Like, is he just
Robert
like working
Eggers
out?
is-
Like,
I'm
is he
sorry.
just trying to like work out his like kinning? Like, is he just like, I kin as this animal?
If your fursona is a seagull, I'm sorry, but that is so sad.
Is that not Robert Pattinson though?
I mean, maybe.
I think it's more the fish. Well, that's who he wants to. He identifies with the seagull. That's why he has to kill it, because he knows that it's coming.
Yeah.
The
never.
seagull is coming.
It's shitting, pissing, farting, and coming. If you know
Oh
what
my
I
god,
mean.
that was like one of the most like unbelievable things about this movie is that a seagull would be so confrontational.
Yeah. What the fuck did he do to piss off this bird?
That bird had a fucking grudge.
There are not only one but two dead seagulls in this movie, because he finds the first one
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
drowned
Uh-huh.
in the
But it was still
well,
alive.
and then he's
Yeah.
like, and that was after Willem Dafoe had been like, it's a curse to kill a seabird, and then he finds one dead, which is already a bit of an omen, and then he decides to just continue on with the beating. So yeah, it's definitely personal at that point.
No. Yeah, a lot of people would say that that's like one of the more disturbing scenes in the movie. I think the most frightening thing for me in this movie is the poop shot.
Yeah. That's
Out of
so
nowhere.
bad.
Oh, when he throws it off the ledge and it winds back onto his
That's
parka.
what. Oh my god.
That
That's
one-
his own
It's-
fucking fault.
no, no,
He's
no, no,
stupid.
no, no, no.
He's stupid for doing
It's
that.
not that shot. It's like when he discovers the poop, and then it's like a full like just a close shot of like two fucking cans
Oh
full
my
of
god.
shit.
A room with
And
like a cat litter box is already so bad.
Yeah, no, for real. I was like, oh, this is so foul. But no, like I do love that scene because like that. For some reason, like, that scene just felt so relatable. Because, like, everyone's had those days, you know what I mean? Not, like, relatable. But, like, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, no,
like,
I love cleaning out my poop pots. I just everyone's got one of those days. You got both filled up. You're like, where do I poop?
No, but, like, you know what I mean? When, like, you're just trying to do, like, the responsible thing, and then it just, your shit comes flying back at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Ladies, are you ever emptying the bedpans on a windy day?
If
And that
anyone
shit
gets
just
what
gets you right back in the face. No, I've definitely, I know what you mean. Like, I've dropped a plate while, like, being like, I'm gonna clean the dishes for my mom today.
Exactly.
And then I, like,
shit
drop
that.
one of my dad's favorite glasses. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In there.
No, that scene was horrifying for me, but I will say that the cinematography of this movie is probably one of my favorite ones of all time. Like, every single frame is a picture. Even when Rob's like...
Yes.
It is a picture.
Even the poop. Even the poop.
I would get that on my
wall.
wall.
I'll give it to the poop. As much as I hate to say it, I'll give it to the poop. It's a picture.
Solid log.
9 out of 10.
I think there was a
Really
piece of
good.
corn in there, though, which I don't get.
Oh my god. I remember, I feel like the reason I first watched this movie was because it was nominated for a cinematography Oscar. And sometimes when, so Jen and I do our little quest every year where we watch all of them. And sometimes if we are getting most of them within Best Picture, and then we only need to see like one or two more to round out a category. So like for like Best Actor or Actress, usually there's a ton of overlap. But this was the year that we only needed one more for cinematography. We're like, well, let's just watch The Lighthouse. Like we'll just rent it. We'll watch it together on the couch because that's going to be really, normal because there's not going to be fish.
No one expects it.
No one expects it.
But this, I will stand by that. I think this is the only movie that's come out in like, I'm going to say 5 years, but like I probably could extend it even back further, that I felt like the choice of black and white was fully justified. When a movie's in black and white, usually I'm pissed about it. And I think it's stupid and I don't think it adds anything. And that's usually how I feel all times, basically, except for this, as far as like modern films that come out and it's in black and white. This one, I'm like, yes, this is serving a purpose and it's adding something to this film for me. And the little aspect ratio, the unique, it's almost a perfect square. I think it's 1.19 to 1 aspect ratio, which is like not really ever used, but that I have less of a critique about, and more just like the black and white, the choice. I love seeing photos of them filming this movie because their clothes are all kind of funny colors because it's like layered as to like with the intention of it being black and white. So like red looks really good because it's like this like sort of more vibrant shade of gray you don't get from other like colors. So I believe his like overalls are like bright red or something. Just like when you see it in color, their outfits look so silly because they're like, oh, we know we're shooting it in black and white, so we need to get like contrast within the layers of, black and gray, which is, I don't know, it's just silly to me. But this is, I really think, like, name a movie from the past decade, 2 decades that's been in black and white that, like, I don't know, doesn't make me
that
specifically
serves like
angry.
that
I challenge you.
genuinely serves a purpose.
When did Schindler's List come out?
That's
90s? the only other movie that I can think that's black and white that is like within, I guess, like the time frame that is like well done.
Yeah,
it has a reason
and it makes
for
sense.
it.
Yeah,
I can't think of any others.
Well, because like Mank,
Fuck Mank,
pissed me off.
Yeah.
Roma is like a fine movie, but I'm like, I just wish this was in color. Like, never during this movie was I like, wow, I wish this was in color. No, I was like, this is correct.
Exactly.
This is the vibe.
No, for sure. I hear you.
And also with just like the black and white, like especially in the scene, like especially when like Willem is giving his like big screaming match at
The
Robert
monologue.
Pattinson, the monologue. The shadows on his face like just change, and just like I guess how they did the makeup and how he's moving his face and like everything in it, it makes him look like almost like inhuman. And it's just like you wouldn't have that on color because it would just be like everything would just be in color and it wouldn't have the shadows would not be there pretty much.
Yeah, no, that was one. I remember seeing this for the first time in the theater, and
we both looked at each other and our mouths were dropped.
Yeah, well, the monologue itself is absolutely brilliant. I love Willem Dafoe's performance. But yeah, no, the way they did the lighting and everything like that, like I don't feel like I had ever seen anything
his
like
face
it before.
looked like it was like changing.
Yeah, well,
like it was like moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And like morphing into
it was like monstrous. It was gorgeous.
Especially like when he was like, I don't know how to like do it without like showing it on my face, but he's throwing his head back and looking down at him with like huge open eyes, and I'm like, whoo.
Yeah.
All
No.
because he didn't like his lobster. Not even he didn't even like his lobster. He just
wouldn't say he didn't.
he literally said, I would fuck a steak, and then it was just like, but what about my cooking? Would you fuck my cooking?
But you don't like my lobster.
That
So
was
you
my
wouldn't
favorite.
fuck my lobster?
I love that, like,
What are you saying? You don't
I
like my
love that,
lobster?
like, throughout this whole movie, like, Willem couldn't care, like, if he, like, got actually insulted by
Yeah.
Rob, but when he refuses to say that he likes his lobster, that's what pulls him off the deep end. But you're fond of me lobster.
I
Like-
honestly kind of wish I could try the lobster.
Yeah.
I'm a big lobster boy. I honestly like if I could eat lobster pretty much every day for a month with like weird little like corned hash mixed into
Yeah.
it and like dirt from outside. I think I'd be pretty okay with it.
Are you romanticizing the Lighthouse life?
I would 100%. Like, would you guys not?
Oh my god, guess who's here? It's my mom, Jen, here to host her interim segment that she hosts here on the podcast. It's called Chocolate or Vanilla. She just says two things, and we say which one we like better. It's a fun game. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Stupendous.
Excellent.
Good.
And so, is there a theme this week?
There is a theme this week. It was submitted by a listener, which I was psyched about. And
Yes. Shouts out to Brooke Drew on Instagram who DM'd us this idea for chocolate or vanilla, and I sent it over to Jen. She was like, "Yes, we're running it. We're doing it." So shouts out, Brooke. Thanks for suggesting. Also, anyone else, if you want to suggest ideas, I'm trying to get better about like crediting people when we're always like, this one was sent in by a listener, and I don't say your name. So I'm gonna try to get better about that. But DM us your ideas for chocolate or vanilla for themes, because each week we do a little theme, or Jen does the theme. She plans this. I don't plan it.
so it's A24 month, so it's A24 actors in an A24 film versus a more mainstream or blockbuster film.
Stunning. We love it. We're gonna go, and the order is I'm gonna go first, then Emily, then Matt, then Jen. So if anyone cares about whose opinion is whose.
Perfect. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Strawberry.
I'll go strawberry too. All right, first one is Willem Dafoe as Bobby in the Florida Project versus as Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
Oh.
Oh! That's so hard!
I think it's
Oh.
very easy.
Really? Okay, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself, so I think I have to say the Green Goblin just because, like, there's more content. I think the Florida Project's a better movie, but I think him, and especially the most recent one where he did his own
God.
stunts. He's like
Yeah.
he's like 95 and he was riding a hoverboard. Like that's just I'm sorry, I can't not pick Green Goblin.
Got straddled by Tom Holland.
I would also do my own stunts if that's what it entailed. Yeah, no. As much as like that was an amazing performance by him in the Florida Project, the Green Goblin performance was also just outstanding. So I'm gonna give it to Green Goblin.
Nothing will ever beat him as Green Goblin. I like that Spider-Man.
I'm gonna go same. I'm gonna say as Green Goblin. The next one is Elle Fanning as Julie in 20th Century Woman or as Aurora in Maleficent.
Fuck a Disney remake. And also I think we have like a harborous, is that a real word? We have a very large love on this podcast for 20th Century Women, which I would say almost like everyone in that movie is giving their best performance. So
Yeah.
I gotta say Elle Fanning there.
That is, I've never like been one to like say like that like this is my favorite movie. That's my favorite movie. And I absolutely adore her in that film. So definitely her as Julie.
I was gonna say, like Dara, you said it. You're comparing a Disney remake to a very, very good crafted movie. So yeah, 20th Century Woman.
Definitely this week then, 20th Century Woman. Next one is Justin Long as Wallace in the movie Tusk, or as the voice of Alvin in Alvin and the Chipmunks, 2007.
Okay. I saw a really great tweet that was like, Justin Long is the perfect amount of famous that like he's in a lot of really great stuff, but you could run into him at the grocery store and not like recognize him kind of thing. Like, I mean, like maybe I would, but like most people wouldn't. But that movie Tusk, literally, like I could not finish it. Scarred for, I think I watched it a little too young as well. Like, but that movie is fucked up. But I don't. When did it come out?
It came out in 2014.
So yeah, I don't know, maybe 15. I don't know. I didn't have the stomach for it at the time.
No, it's foul. It's like
I've seen bits. And
it's
it doesn't
so
seem
gross.
fun.
I think I'm too young to watch it now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Is that bad? It's like
No, it's one of those ones I think you could probably skip.
The makeup.
Body
good.
horror.
Yeah.
Body horror. So I guess I'll say Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah. Alvin and the Chipmunks is also body horror in a different way.
Yeah.
But I'll stick with Alvin and the Chipmunks because I don't think I could stomach Tusk.
I remember seeing that. I remember seeing Alvin and Chipmunks in theaters.
Ooh.
I was a fan of the cinema.
yeah. I will say Alvin as well. Next one is Alicia Vikander as Ava in Ex Machina or as Lara Croft in Tomb Raider.
I've never seen either of these movies.
Really?
I have not seen either.
Yeah, is that bad?
Ex Machina is
when-
really good, so.
I guess I'll pick that one because I think when I think of that movie, I think of her, but when I think of Tomb Raider, I think of Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
So I'll pick Ex Machina. I guess.
I love that movie. You should watch that movie for it's just got an excellent cast, like her and Donald Gleason and Oscar Isaac is so good in that one. He's got this whole dance scene, it's great. But I really loved her in that movie, and that was like one of those movies that made me like really become a fan of hers. So I'll definitely pick Ex Machina.
I have also like never seen either movie, so I will also pick Ex Machina. I really want to watch that one though.
You'd like it.
Yeah, same. I haven't seen either, but I'll pick Ex Machina because of what you guys described it as. All right,
Sexy
the
Oscar
next
Isaac.
The next one is two actors who were both in the same A24 and both in the same blockbuster. So Charlize Theron and Nicholas Hoult as Libby and Lyle in Dark Places, or as Furiosa and Nux in Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, it's got to be Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's got to be Mad Max for me.
No question. I haven't heard of the first one. I have no idea about that one. But Mad Max is just brilliant. Like, I went into that thinking I wasn't gonna like it very much, and it was probably one of like those movies that I was absolutely blown away with. So Mad Max for sure.
I'll pick Mad Max as well.
Yeah, same thing. I think Nicholas Hoult was scene stealer in that, right?
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy spoke all of like 3 words.
Yeah.
No, right?
It was just all grunts.
It's Max. And that was it.
Next one is Ashley Benson as Britt in Spring Breakers or as Hannah in Pretty Little Liars.
Oh my god, Hannah and Pretty Little Liars. Hannah was my bitch when I watched that show. So we covered Spring Breakers the other week, and I talked about this. But when I watched Pretty Little Liars, everyone has like their one girl that they like care about their plot line more than the others. And Hannah was my fucking bitch because she had the hot boyfriend with the long hair, and they fucked in the tent. I remember that. I don't remember who A was. Like
Hannah wasn't the one who disappeared, right?
No, that's Allison.
Right. I remember watching this show with my sister.
I like that that's one of your core memories, Darryl. I never watched Pretty Little Liars.
Really?
No, I didn't. Yeah,
It was like kind of good.
So I'll pick her in Spring Breakers just because I've actually seen it.
I think I'm gonna say Pretty Little Liars.
I love that for you.
That show had a bigger connection to me than Spring Breakers did.
Your face when I said Pretty Little Liars, I'm like, oh, he's a fan. I will take Pretty Little Liars. So next one is Emma Watson as Nikki in The Bling Ring or as Belle in the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Literally, I've never seen The Bling Ring, but like I said before, fuck a Disney remake. I literally cannot. No person in any of those movies ever gives me anything. I'm sorry.
Wasn't it bad?
It wasn't great.
It was bad. It was.
I
Her
heard it
singing
was,
was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I love the bling ring.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I've never watched that.
I feel like we watched it together. But no, definitely her in the bling ring.
I guess bling ring. No, I'm gonna say Beauty and the Beast. I think the CGI and the singing in that movie was amazing. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, no.
I am a bling ring fan, so I'm gonna say is Nikki in the bling ring.
Yeah, I can see that, Jen.
Next one was Shailene Woodley as Amy Finnicky in The Spectacular Now, or as Triss in Divergent.
Oh.
As The Secret Life of an American Teenager.
I was gonna say, if you said Secret Life of the American Teenager, this would have been a whole different story.
Oh, damn.
Wait, was The Secret Life of the American Teenager the pregnancy show
Yes.
one?
Yes.
That was her?
Yeah, that was her. That was like her
ABC Family was a crazy channel.
Wild. Absolutely buck wild. What was my first option? The Spectacular Now?
Yeah.
Was that also with the guy from
Whiplash?
Oh.
Yes.
yeah,
Miles
and Divergent?
Yeah,
Oh,
Miles
yeah.
Davis. Oh my god!
Could have been
Oh,
a double.
yeah.
Wow.
Totally
Oh my,
could have been a double.
triple. Wow, that's crazy. Can I pick Miles Teller in Whiplash? I picked Miles Teller in Whiplash.
Was that A24?
No.
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 Back on theme, Darren. Back on theme.
What was the original
Sorry.
too?
The Spectacular Now, which I don't know if you ever
That was just
seen
like a
it.
weird like teenage movie,
Have
right?
you seen
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
No.
He had like an alcohol like abuse problem, and she was like, I don't know.
Didn't
She
it
was
take
like
place
the
in,
nerd.
Ohio?
Yeah. She was like his anchor or some shit. I don't
Oh
fucking know.
my
You know what I
Lord.
mean? She like made him want to get sober kind of thing. I think. It's been like 7+ years since I've seen that movie, so I could be talking out my ass right now.
I'm gonna say Divergent, and that's saying a lot.
What about you, Sarah?
Oh, no, I said Miles Teller in Whiplash. I mean, no, I'll say I can't pick her as American Teenager. I guess I'll Triss from Divergent. I remember reading those books and just not really caring for them. And then I read all of them and I saw all the movies like on their midnight premieres because I was in my like teen dystopian fiction era kind of.
I love that they didn't make the last movie.
Yeah, they just did not commit to making the
They just
last
gave
one.
up.
Yeah, I didn't hate those books, so I guess I'll go for Divergent because The Spectacular Now didn't like give me anything except for that one scene where she literally gets hit by an 18-wheeler.
What?
It's a whole thing. Yeah, sorry. Spoiler alert for anyone who's trying to watch The Spectacular Now.
I get to see Shailene Woodley get hit by a truck and Miles Teller have an alcohol problem. Did this movie win an Oscar?
Yeah, I'll go with you guys and go with Divergent. Next one is Aubrey Plaza as Beth in Life After Beth, or as April in Parks and Rec.
Oh,
Wait, but can it be Ingrid Goes West though?
Again, is that an
I guess-
A24?
No, instead of Parks and Rec.
Oh.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm not hijacking your segment. I'll pick April in Parks and Rec.
I remember watching Life After Beth, like sort of at the intro of my like relationship with A24 movies, and I really liked that one. It's got like Dane DeHaan in it too, and Molly Shannon. It's pretty decent, so I'll go for her in Life After Beth.
I'm realizing I have not watched a lot of A24 movies. Well, I haven't
and Rec.
watched Parks and Rec either. But like I've seen clips of it, so I'll
Yeah.
say Parks and Rec.
Okay.
I'll take Parks and Rec too. I'm realizing that Darren and Emily have watched a bunch of A24 movies. I was afraid when I was doing this that you might not know them, but you know them all. So, next one is
Because this is all we do.
next one is Brie Larson as Ma in Room, or as Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel.
There is a like this is an opinion based segment and there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer here. And if anyone thinks that her performance in Captain Marvel surpassed that of Room, I like don't cry. Well, I do cry, but like I don't cry a lot. And I remember sobbing all the way through Room. I remember you were like, yeah, it's gonna be really sad, but like we've got to go see it because the Oscars. And I was like, okay, sure, crack me a cold one. I'm ready for this. No. Tears when she rolls him up in the carpet and they escape from the dungeon. That movie is so touching. I'll say her in Room is so good.
Hold on, what was her name in Room?
Just Ma. Like, because
Ma.
he called her
See,
Ma.
That's the thing, is you said Brie Larson is Ma, and I was like, that was...
In Ma? That was Octavia Spencer. I always like, stop, Em, I'm sorry.
Excuse me? No, I'll go for her performance. I haven't seen that one. That's one that I haven't seen. It's been on my list for ages.
It's gut wrenching.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't done
That's
anything
rough.
good since.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll choose that for that reason alone.
I'll jump onto that
Yeah.
reason as well.
Yeah. She won
What about
Best
you?
Actress for that. I'll say same.
Yeah.
I'll say same. All right, this is the last one, and it's the triple. Paul Dano as Hank in Swiss Army Man, or as Dwayne in Little Miss Sunshine, or as the Riddler in the Batman.
This is really hard because I love me some Paul Dano, but him in Little Miss Sunshine is like what sent me into the Paul Dano spiral. Like after I saw that movie for the first time when I was like 15, I was like, who is this man? Where do I subscribe? Where do I sign up? And like then I went through the whole discography because I was hooked. Little Miss Sunshine, like you said like tentatively 20th Century Woman might be your favorite movie. Little Miss Sunshine like might tentatively be my favorite movie. So.
Oh, no, not tentatively. That movie is my favorite movie, like, through and through. But it's so fucked because I still haven't seen Little Miss Sunshine, and it's been on my list for years and years and years. And I honestly want to pick his performance in it, even though I haven't seen it, because I know I'd like it so much either way. Because obviously, like, everyone's seen the fucking, what is it?
Where he finds out that he's colorblind.
Yeah, the colorblind scene. Like, literally just based off of that scene alone, I want to pick it. But since I don't feel like that's, like, enough of a basis, I'll pick him as the Riddler. Because
Over Swiss Army Man?
I love Swiss Army Man, but I like his performance, but his character kind of makes me like want to rip my skin off at the same time. So I'll give it to the Riddler just like right now, but like once I watch Little Miss Sunshine, just know that that's my choice. And Matt, you have a deep connection to the Batman. So.
I love the Batman. Just Batman. But like, I really agree. I think once I watch Little Miss Sunshine,
Right.
it's going to change my view. I think I do like him a lot as the Riddler. I think him in Swiss Army Man was great, but
Kind of the same, like
yeah,
just as
spooky. Spooky guy in the back of my woods. Like I've already had like nightmares of that from childhood. They used to have like neighbors of like, stories of like the person who owned the house before coming to my room.
And that's Paul Dano for you.
Listen, if Paul Dano was tapping on my window at night, I think I'd be a little spooked.
Dara would let him climb right.
I would be thrilled. That's your nightmare. That's my dream.
Hi, Matt.
So are you going with the Riddler then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would not want the Riddler at my window either. He's just breathing heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Matt because I think he was awesome as the Riddler. So
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, a long film, but a good film. I think that's where DC needs to go. They need to stop like trying to be like Marvel movies, and they need to realize that their pathway to success is being less like Marvel.
Be gritty.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Be gritty and sexy.
I want
And contained.
and oh my god, what a beautiful transition! Because now we're talking about Batman, Robert Pattinson, and then wow, we're transitioning again. Let's talk about more Robert Pattinson as I segue out of Chocolate or Vanilla into our continued discussion about the Lighthouse. Ooh, that was so smooth. So Jen, thank you so much as always for coming on to be a lovely, gracious, and amazing host.
thank you for having me.
I love you and goodbye.
I love you guys. Have a great week.
Okay, yeah, truthfully, I feel the same way. We covered The Shining not too
100%
long
would.
ago, and like, the whole part of The Shining is like, oh, wouldn't it be so horrible to be stuck inside with your family for literally more than 10 minutes? And it's like, yeah, dude, COVID. Like, post-COVID, the whole, like, being isolated as a, like, factor to being scary is, like, a little just less intense because I'm like, yeah, I did stay inside a small space with my immediate family for like 5 fucking months and didn't leave. Like, yeah, like, and I didn't kill anyone. So, and I'm fucking nuts, and I didn't kill anyone. But yeah, this whole, I'm like, I could 4 weeks. That's nothing. Yeah, 4 weeks. That's nothing. Maybe with a person. Honestly, I'd rather do it alone. Like when I'm stuck with my thoughts, it gets messy. But I'd rather do it alone than with a person that I found irritating.
But I mean, could you do it with Willem Dafoe in this movie? Like, if you were in Rob's place, do you think he could manage?
I would smack the old man around a little bit. I think I would get pissed. I'd be like, you need to stop being such a little old man.
But I also would have been like much more enthusiastic about drinking with him from the get-go. There's this whole, like, sort of, like, he doesn't want to drink with him because he's, like, drinking makes you stupid. And Willem Dafoe's like, yeah, that's the fucking point. Like, I'm trying to sing sea shanties, and if you're sober, it's just not gonna line up.
You can't get the harmonies right.
As soon as he comes around to drinking with him, then it obviously gets a little more fun, but also a little more chaotic. But I think from the beginning, I'll be like, I'll do the chores because you're old and you only have one leg, and like you can fuck the lighthouse, you can have that. But like I will be partying with you in the latter hours of the day. And I would have fucked the mermaid. He ran away. He was scared. I would have
he put his
gone
pee
for
in it.
At that point, is it real? Is it a hallucination? I don't care. Fuck the mermaid.
Yeah, when he was having the montage scene, he was. Oh, I know, he was thinking about it.
Yeah. That was totally.
Because it's a dream. Then he wakes up, right? He's like, I'm fucking the mermaid. And then he wakes up.
Yeah,
And he's
he
like,
had a crazy dream.
I need to jack off about this.
I kept thinking, like, he wakes up and then he just sees Willem Dafoe's character crawling into bed, and he's like, dude, I had a crazy dream about you last night. I saw your penis. And it's Willem Dafoe, so you know what kind of.
My god!
You know what he saw.
Wait, we don't see his. We don't see.
No.
His
You don't see either of their penises.
No dicks are out. We do get to see Robert Pattinson's ass.
I heard that if you turn up the brightness and the exposure after the exacerbation scene, when he's crawling forward a little bit, you could see his penis a little bit.
I believe that.
I heard that they filmed a full dick out masturbation scene.
Oh my god.
And they cut it. And they cut it in order, because they're like, this is maybe a little too much. But they filmed it. Which means that in that moment, Robert Pattinson was agreeing to have his full dick out for multiple moments on screen. Which,
I believe that.
The film exists.
on brand for Robert.
I think he's done that in a movie before. Like, he's like genuine.
Yes.
Like, for a movie,
I fucking forget which movie.
Yeah, I don't know which movie, but he like genuinely masturbated for it.
Yeah, no, he like actually had sex in that movie.
Yeah, no, it was. I couldn't tell you what it is. Definitely like during his like big indie run and all that shit. But I remember hearing that, and that doesn't really shock me that he would be like, "Oh yeah, my dick will be out." Like, no worries.
Poor Willem Dafoe.
I am.
Got told that his penis was too scary. That like must suck. Like coming from like a guy like that must.
Like, I mean, I don't. Like,
no one wants to feel like a freak. He said of freakish proportions. That would feel horrible.
Your monster cock.
Even if it was that big, that would not feel fun.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Have you heard this?
You know who is Monster Cock? Yeah, that Willem Dafoe has a monster cock. I think it's just known. I think I forget the exact context in which it was revealed to the public that he does have a monster schlong. I watched this with my brothers-in-law, and they were like, "Is this the one where we get to see his dick?" And I'm like, "I don't think so."
The movie?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
I actually know it all. Because this movie's on my list.
Okay.
It was the movie Possession. And there's a sex scene in it. I think it's Possession. And there's a pretty in-depth sex scene in it. And Willem Dafoe was going to actually have his penis out, but then the director was just like, your penis is literally too big for this scene. And it's just like, he literally said it's just like, it's so big, it's like uncomfortably big. And it's making, it literally, it's just like, it would take away from the scene. And from like the viewing experience, and it's just like, I'm afraid, like he literally was just like, your penis would take away from the entire movie.
Oh my god!
It's just like apparently that big and like proportionally like not correct for his body. so they got a double for the movie to
oh my god,
to play his penis.
Willem, your dick is scaring the crew.
No, that's what it was. Imagine
my
being the guy to
goodness.
play
Oh.
Willem Dafoe's penis.
Your dick stand-in.
They didn't even use like a prosthetic. They just brought in another
That's
guy.
wild. Absolutely wild.
I wish if he was willing to have full hard cock out in this movie, I wish we got a scene like of the landscape with the lighthouse and then like a fade to like, you know, maybe like like he's asleep, but like
Like a
cock,
morning
like
wood.
erect penis from lighthouse to penis, because this movie, like, I feel like I was scrolling through Letterboxd before this, and obviously like lots of high praise. I think a lot of people who are on if you're on Letterboxd, you probably like The Lighthouse. Like, that just seems to be the vibe. But the people who were giving it sort of lower ratings were like, seems a little pretentious. Like, it's a little pretentious. It's a little boring. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like literally like dick jokes. The whole movie. It's like phallic imagery.
Yeah, phallic lighthouse imagery and then farts. Like, what else could you... Oh my god.
Like, just because it's in black and white doesn't mean it's pretentious. Like, yeah, literally there's fart jokes. But I wish the scene where so you guys were talking about his monologue scene and like the shadows and the lighting and that scene being so beautiful. And to me, what really gets me is like, as the characters are descending into madness and things get sort of more like surreal, we get the one scene of him like as like, I guess, Neptune or whatever, where he's got like this big coral like crown on, and he's also like, I don't know, just saying some shit and yelling. Right now, that's the background on my phone right now. It's like Willem Dafoe doing his little Neptune moment. But it's the when he's standing and the beam is coming from his face.
Oh yeah, the picture.
When he is the lighthouse, and the beam and the beam is coming from his head down to Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, no, I think that's based off of a painting, I believe.
Oh yeah, no, it's Hypnos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe it. That's the most beautiful scene in this whole
100%.
movie to me. Like, once shit gets kind of like wacky and eerie, like, yeah, there are mermaids, there's like screaming mermaids, Greek mythology, like Norse references, whatever. That's where I'm like, wow, this is every screenshot. I think I said this about The Favorite when we were over on the Scopophilia podcast when we were talking about The Favorite, and I was like, you could screenshot any given moment and I would want it framed in my house. I feel the same way about this movie. And even the yucky scenes, even the poop scenes, I'm like, they're beautiful. I want that framed in my house.
What reminded me of a lot is the very, very, very end, where it is, who is it who steals the fire?
Prometheus.
That, I think, is like one of my favorite little parts of Robert Pattinson. Naked, obviously. Sprawled out. Yeah, getting his like
getting plucked.
little innards eaten. What is it? His pancreas that they eat every morning. I thought that was just really great.
Oh, it was brilliant.
And I like to think that the bird that was really digging at him was Tom.
Yeah. Ooh. All right.
No, there's a lot of like readings of this film that are like way deeper than my mental capacity. Like, I'm the type that I'm like, if anything is sort of like, are we supposed to believe that it's like real or hallucination or a dream or real life? I always just settle on real life. I'm like, to me, everything in this movie legit happened. There's a tentacle fuck monster living in that lighthouse. He truly became Neptune in that moment. Like none of this was, I know they were drinking gasoline, so obviously it's implied that some of it was a little loopy, but I'm like, no, to me and for me, this all was legit and really, like, a mermaid did wash up on shore and he did fuck it. Like that's just, it's just the truth that I would like to live in. But there's like a lot of readings of this about like them both being the same person. So Thomas Wake is Willem Dafoe, and then Ephraim Winslow, but later revealed his name is also Thomas because he's like, I'm Thomas too. And it's sort of like the cycle of like Willem Dafoe's character being angry at Robert Pattinson for being so naive, but like him being mad at him for being so overbearing, and like them just like living in a perpetual cycle of like tormenting each other basically, but like, is that yourself? I don't know. Like, there's a whole, I don't even know. And like, the Prometheus shit, like getting your shit plucked because you stole fire and gave it to humans, if you're betraying the working class to try to leave a better life, and then I don't even know, then you get punished for killing the seabird. There's a whole thing. I'm not smart
Interesting
enough to talk
that
about
you
it,
brought
though,
up the like that they're the same person, because in the script they don't have names, and when they were given the scripts it was just older, younger.
Ooh.
I like that.
So
wow.
It could be.
I know that originally it was, so him and his brother worked on this together. I think they wrote the screenplay together, and then Robert Eggers, I think his name was Alex Eggers, he was writing a screenplay about a ghost. And he was like a ghost who like runs a lighthouse. And Robert Eggers was like, I see it. It's in like 1-to-1 aspect ratio. It's black and white. They're eating dinner with each other. Like one younger, one old. And so he could like see it or whatever. But he was also inspired by a story which was like based off of a true thing, but it was like kind of a folklore about two guys named Thomas who like are on a lighthouse and kill each other or something. So it's like his brother's idea about ghosts and then this like actual thing that happened. So, but yeah, older, younger, are they both Thomas? Are they the same? Whoa, fucking, that's fucking
Yeah, there
nuts.
was a super famous story of like old lighthouse people that like this pretty much like almost like worse stuff happened. Like when they found him, they just found one of the guys alive, just like sitting in like the lighthouse. But then I think they found the other guy pretty much like crucified on the lighthouse like tower without a head.
Oh my god.
And that's why I think they put in the head in the lobster basket in the movie.
Oh.
And whatever, my personal theory is that Thomas was that dude who killed him in like from that story, and then this is just like the next lighthouse that he went to, I guess.
Oh, yeah, of course. No, I think it's the same lighthouse, and I think he goes back with new people each time, and he kills them. And there's a whole thing about how the corpse that or the head in the lobster trap he finds has
seagull.
like one eye gouged out, and the seagull he kills also only has one eye. So the seagull is the reincarnation of the dead sailor trying to come to warn him about fucking Willem Dafoe, but then he's like pissed at it, and so he kills it, and then there's a bad omen. I don't know.
And the seagull is mad at Robert Pattinson because he's young.
And then, but now Robert Pattinson is the seagull, and he's the seagull who's going to try to warn the next guy. He's going to get his shit.
Yeah, this is such a like
a dream within a dream.
Yeah. This is totally one of those movies that you can just go down like so many different fucking wormholes.
But I just like to think of it as just two bros having a really fun weekend.
Right?
Like, I don't know, like, that's like, I mean, maybe that's just like,
I just like to see him dance.
like, maybe that's just like the male mind, but like,
Yeah.
mine is like, I guess the drinking oil and like really like losing your mind, but like, just like reading like a lot of stories in like, of like men being together and being in like a stressful situation. It's like, everything that happened, like, I don't want to say like usually happens, but like kind of usually happens.
Someone gets axed,
But that's what I'm
someone
saying.
fucks a mermaid,
Like,
somebody falls down the stairs.
The whole thing of like them like getting like really antsy with each other, and like even like going down to like the whole like homoeroticism and like just of being alone with another man for so long. You see that happen a lot, and it's like, I don't know, just dudes having a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd get a little horny
yeah.
if I was singing
Like
sea
what else
shanties
do you
with the
think
boys.
pirates were doing? Like they literally said that they didn't want women on ships. Like they. No, we don't want women.
No, we're good. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're onto something. But speaking of partying with the boys, do we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming?
Absolutely, and I think the only fuck, marry, kill options are obviously Ephraim, Thomas, and the mermaid. Do you disagree?
No, that's 110% the only thing we've got to work with.
And this is hard.
This is a really hard one. This might be one of our most difficult fuck, marry, kills yet, because I think a lot of people would say kill the mermaid, but I disagree.
No. I'm gonna marry the mermaid because
Interesting.
my life, my love, and my lady is the sea. And so if I can be that lighthouse keeper, and she comes around my wife every once in so often to like come treat me to that fish pussy, then because both of these men, no, I simply could not handle it. And so I'm gonna marry the mermaid, and I'm gonna be the lighthouse keeper, and she's gonna be my wife, and it's gonna be lovely. And then I think I'm gonna fuck Ephraim, just because there's something, I don't know, there's something a little pent up there.
Well,
and also just the way he beats the shit out of that seagull. Like, he can treat me like a steak, is what I'm getting at. And then,
it's
not
that
to say that
fucking-
I also
dude.
don't want to fuck Willem Dafoe, but I will have to kill him because he's going to try to make me do chores, and I'm not here for it.
See, I feel like if I was married to Willem Dafoe in this, I think I would be able to put him to work. I think I could make him my bitch, and I'm okay with. I think I could. So
He speaks out of term, and then you bury him alive, and you put him back in line.
You say bark.
bro, exactly. You've seen him be like submissive as fuck. Come on.
He's a verse.
He's So I think I'll say I'll marry Willem in this. And then I'm gonna fuck the mermaid.
I would fuck the mermaid.
Because I mean, it's just like, come on, how many times do you get the chance?
The way she be screeching,
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
I think you romanticized the mermaid a little too much. She was scary. She didn't seem very lovely. Like she's gonna come by with like she shanties and being like, "Oh,
no,
hi, babe."
She's not bringing you wine.
She's screaming at you with her twitching fish taint.
Yeah, no. So I'll give her the one time kind of deal.
It's just once?
I mean, yeah. And then I'm gonna kill Ephraim just because I think he had those, like, here's my thing, is that I think both of them are crazy, but Willem had it under control more, I think. Like, he's, like, used to his crazy. And Winslow is not quite on that level, and I don't think I can deal with that. I don't wanna mess about in that muck too much. As, like, hot as he is when he's, like, shoveling coal shirtless, like, I'm good. I'll take the fussy.
I think I agree with Emily to a T. I think I would fuck the mermaid, obviously. I mean, fish pussy.
How often do you get that opportunity?
Not enough.
Oh, wait, there's a really bad joke to be made about getting crabs in here somewhere.
The sacrifice you have to make for getting pussy.
Salty. Yeah, I think I would marry Tom, old Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we can knit together
and like
sing and
he's
dance.
like a cool crazy that I could fuck with.
Yeah.
And like
exactly.
Like
he's got it mostly under control.
And like I don't know, how old is he? He doesn't really, I don't think he has much to live, like that much longer to live. But like I'm not saying I'm looking forward to him dying. We're gonna have a very lovely marriage. But he's in his years.
Yeah.
Like that's my defense for him in the entire movie. It's just he's just senile.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Robert Pattinson is actually fucking just batshit crazy in this movie.
Exactly.
Ephraim Winslow or Tom, actually insane.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like real crazy.
He's off his shit.
He's
he's
crazy. I don't think he gets a lot of social cues either. There was one part, I don't know if you can keep this, but he was saying he was like literally saying he was just like, you're treating me like a slave, and it's just like this was like in like the 1800s, like
job,
the late 1800s, like slavery in America just ended. It's like I don't know if I would be comparing myself to a slave just yet.
But they're like in Maine. I mean,
too.
They're in like rural Maine.
But like
maybe they don't
worse,
get the news.
like that's just
I
like
don't know.
Yeah. In poor taste.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
No, I hear you.
He's actually crazy though. Like he I would be afraid to be with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least like Willem's like a fun crazy. He's like, drink with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rob's like a scary like straight edge crazy.
He's gonna murder me after, and that's what I want. Like, bash my head in on a rug, please.
You just want to be the seagull.
Yeah, right. In this fantasy, I'm the seagull. Yeah, maybe my persona is a seagull, to be honest.
Squawk.
But I watched this movie with my brother-in-law, and he was like, "Oh," because he had never seen it, and Henry had never seen it either. And so he's like, "Oh, isn't there some like vaginal imagery in this movie?" And I was like, "Oh,
There's a little more
yeah,
than just imagery. There's
just you wait." And then there was the scene of Robert Pattinson like coming out of the like fog.
Oh yeah,
that's
or whatever. Do you know
I
what
love
I'm
that
talking about?
shot too.
And he was like, there it is. And I was like, oh, just you wait. That is not the vaginal
You're in
imagery.
for it.
What was their reaction when they did see the pussy?
Yeah, it was just like, because this movie descends so quickly.
Yeah.
Because like the first like act and a half, like for the first half of this movie, basically, it's like kind of slow, very just like men doing menial work tasks, like slowly getting to know each other. And then it's like shit hits the fucking fan, and and now it's wild, and they're screaming, crying, throwing up, there's poop, there's fish vaginas, like there's so much just happening to you all at once.
Yeah, this movie.
They were like, this is wild, and I was like, yes, this is wild. This is why I made you watch it with me, because I know.
The one critique I will say about this movie is that like every time I watch it, it does feel longer and longer. You know what I mean? And
it's like 100 minutes. It's like it's not a long film.
No, it's not.
Damn, wait, what? It's only 100 minutes.
It's like 108.
Yeah,
or
something like that.
It's pretty
short. Hour 48 or something like that. Yeah, nothing. It's not that bad, but it does.
Pacing in the beginning is kind of a lot.
It's not even like the beginning. Like the third act, like goes so quick. Is the tough thing.
That's what I mean. It's so intentional, and I'm pissed about it because I'm like, why does the first third of this movie feel longer than the last like half? You know, or like I don't know, fractions, but
so.
Anyways.
If you're watching this movie, this short, long movie, what are you going to eat and drink with it?
So I'm pretty pissed because I'm drinking wine right now, and I put in my notes to put it in a mug because this movie makes me want to drink liquor out of a tin mug, but I forgot to do it, and then I didn't want to make an extra dishes, so I just kept my wine glass. But I think you got to drink gin out of a mug, right? Like not everyone owns a tin mug, and there's a whole.
I do want one of those so bad.
Those enamel mugs. They
look
so nice.
Moscow mules, like they serve them in those copper mugs. Which, if you're going to somewhere legit, like I'm sure it's fine. But there was this whole thing where they were like selling them at like cheap stores like Marshalls. Yeah. I mean, Marshalls doesn't sponsor this podcast, so I can say whatever, but like cheaper like home goods type stores where people were buying these Moscow Mule mugs, and they were like flaking off filaments of like metal into the drinks, and people were getting like very ill. Yeah, so like drinking out of a metal mug can be a little bit questionable if you get it from like the sale rack at Marshalls, but I do encourage you to get like a tin mug that you can clank against some shit and fill it with just fucking straight gin.
So you could fill up with coins and clack against like jail cell bars.
And then, so originally I was like seafood, fisherman's platter, like it just makes sense, the ocean, the vibes, lobster, of course, but I'm so glad you brought up eggs and bacon, because my final answer is that you should have steak and eggs with this movie, because the steak that he's gonna fuck made me think about steak, but I'm like, steak and eggs is like hearty. Yeah. It's like a hearty, like a good, just like a hearty meal, and this feels very like, you're working on the Lighthouse,
fish
and
eggs,
you need a calorically dense meal that will, I don't know, get you through it. So some sort of like steak and eggs.
I like that.
It's my
okay. Yeah, I can work with that. I very uncreatively said like lobster bisque, or you could do like a lobster roll or something like that. I wasn't reaching very far with this one, so I like the steak and eggs a lot. But I did take the time to look up. There's a shot that I found. It's called the oil spill. They're oil spill shots. And I think I'll credit this to the Tipsy Bartender, who he's just a very eccentric bartender on Instagram kind of guy. And while this doesn't sound amazing, I do think that doing shots is like kind of the thing that you should do for this. So it's like 2 parts like Goldschlager, 1 part blue curacao, and 1 part Jaeger. And I mean, they look cute. I've never had them. But I feel like if you're going to stay on theme for this, I think the best part of it, like, while drinking gin, like, I'm a big gin fan, so I'm like, yes, of course, I would totally do that. But, like, if you're trying to get a little fun and a little fancy and fresh with it, maybe make some shots.
And on the photo, you said they're oil, like, what you say, oil spill shots or whatever? Are they, do they look black, or are they blue?
It's like blue on the bottom, and then it's like clear, and then like the Jaeger's on top, so it looks black sort of thing. So it's like a tricolored sort of shot. Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
I was just gonna say, I think I would just eat like various canned fish.
Oh,
I would have my own fisherman's platter, but it's just open cans of like albacore, tuna, sardines, and oil, sardines and water.
I love you, but I would not come to your party. It would smell so fucking rank.
And then like.
That's like what I feed my cats. Like I really spoil my cats, and I get them like kind
of nice eat shrimp sometimes
because they have like full shrimps in their canned food. So sometimes I open it and I'm like, I could do it. Like gun to my head, I'm like, honestly, I would. You wouldn't even have to ask me twice. Like I would do it. I mean, like canned tuna is literally like the smell of it makes me like recoil. I cannot. But the food I feed my cats, I'm like, this is kind of better than I eat sometimes. TBH, like there's like a whole scallop in there. I'm like, all right, might as well.
No, I hear you.
I don't know what I would drink with it. Salt water.
Salt water, dehydrate. Literally
Probably like the
dehydrate.
oil and the
I feel
water
like,
from those tuna and like fish cans.
Oh yeah. You just pour
mixed with a little bit of like whiskey.
You pour all the juice into a cup.
I feel like if we're getting conceptual, you could do like a gin. So you know how you like rim a margarita with like salt? If you rimmed a gin and tonic with salt, like a salty gin and tonic, that would feel really right.
Honestly,
for this movie.
yeah.
Like a salty, because it's like the ocean, but also like
no.
I don't know. Don't drink oil is basically don't drink oil or else you'll hallucinate.
Yeah, I see your vision for that.
What about like a dirty martini, but it's just with like fish oil instead of olive oil?
Oh. Listen,
Oh my God.
It'd be horrible, but
Yeah. If you want to get really into it.
A little piece of like salmon sashimi on the side, like garnish hanging off,
some
like
people
like
would
soy sauce.
eat that shit up.
Oh, for sure.
But then, as far as what I would follow this up with, I do have a very distinct answer, other than going to see The Northman in theaters, which is my personal plan. Like in this moment, that's what I would turn around, get in my car, and go do, because I'm so high of how much I love the Lighthouse that I want to go see what's next. But I went fully, I picked a pretty niche detail. So this movie has a weird aspect ratio. So I picked one of my favorite aspect ratio transitions in film is the Disney film Brother Bear. They change aspect ratios when he is a human and he gets knocked out. And then as he wakes up, the aspect ratio gets wider in the film because he's a bear now and he has like animal vision. So you as the viewer, like your lenses are expanded because he's a bear. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's stunning. I think it's one of the most beautiful aspect ratio transitions to ever do it. So this is, and also I think after Lighthouse, you got to come down with something just a little easy.
I love that.
To me, thank you.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. Coming down in that way is nice. I did not choose to do that with my follow-up movie. I said the boys are fighting in this. We're gonna jump over and we're gonna watch the girls fight and ruin each other's lives. And I watched this movie over like quarantine. And it's called Catfight, and it's starring Sandra Oh. And it's basically like a back and forth between these two women, and they kind of ruin each other's lives. There's like a lot of like really physical like fighting between these two women, which I feel like you don't sort of get to see outside of like an action movie, which I really like. So I'll tell you to watch that, and it's also like a tight hour 30 as well, and it's pretty entertaining. So, and I love the sound design in that in the Lighthouse, and I really like the sound and just the score and the music in this as well. So I'll tell you to go for that.
I really thought you were gonna say Marriage Story.
God, no.
I said Brokeback Mountain.
Yes! Oh, that's such a good answer. That's the correct answer. If this was a competition, you'd win this round. That's the correct answer. Because it's like we're teetering. It's like period piece. We have a profession specific. Oh my God, you're so right for that.
Men working.
After every movie, you should, working men who just need to blow off a little steam.
Blow off steam and blow off each other.
Exactly.
Also, beans are like, why'd you spill your beans? Why'd you eat beans before you bottomed for me? Like, wow, the parallels. The parallels.
That's a good one. What would you rate this movie?
Now I'm just thinking I want to like swap, and R.I.P. Heath Ledger, but like I want a
such
Heath Ledger,
a crazy movie.
God.
I want a Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal Lighthouse, and I want a Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe,
please.
Brokeback Mountain. Like I want to swap. I want to do a
That'd
little.
be outstanding.
Oh my God, that would blow my mind. I think I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I like it a lot. I've only seen it a handful of times, so I don't really know about rewatchability because I haven't really chosen to revisit it in my personal life other than, when I'm like have to watch it for a specific purpose, but I do always enjoy it. I think it's interesting. I think it's different. I really respect the creative vision. I think it's beautiful to watch. And then beyond that, also there's like dick jokes and fart jokes, which just really tickle me. And also just like two weirdly gross sexy men just like being gross and sexy. I don't know. I kind of like it.
I'm gonna give it. I think before rewatching it this time, I'd probably give it a 9, a 9.5. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 this time. It is one that I feel like you gotta give it like some time between rewatches. And I think I watched this I watched like half of it like last month or something like that. So as much as I love this movie, it is like, I think it's one of those ones that rewatchability is not amazing, but it's not bad, and it's still one of my favorite movies, so 8.5.
I would say for me personally, this movie is definitely like a 9.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I just think a lot of things in it, just the way that the two act, and like Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe just play off of each other so well in this movie, and like I wish that there would be like more movies literally just with them in a room just yelling at each other. I think that would be great. But I mean, I don't know, I feel like I haven't seen a movie with just two people acting off of each other for the entire movie in a very long time. And I think everything in this movie, like with that in mind, and how it was shot, the black and white, the like very right level of violence and like craziness was just like really great for me.
Most of the violence is like to or from seagulls.
Yeah.
Like the man on man violence, like although we must account for the axing, like the man to seagull and seagull to man violence in this movie, statistically pretty high.
And more brutal, like I would say.
Yeah, right? Get your shit plucked. Oh, and he's like twitching a little. It's so gross. This movie ends on such
Defoe's
like, a
death
gross note,
just
but
was so... I mean, I don't want to say it was quick because, like, it's kind of, like, drawn out with the scene of him, like, getting dragged out and buried. But, like, the axe scene, I remember watching that in theaters and just seeing the axe swing down, and that was it. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he's gone.
It was very abrupt, and, like, I liked that it didn't, like, linger on his death. Like, I liked that he wasn't just dying on the floor, like, saying another, like, long monologue. It's just, like, I'm glad it just ended.
Yeah.
Stunning. So thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
It was
This
very
so
fun.
I'm so glad we finally got around to covering this movie because I feel like this has kind of been on our like agenda since
For
day
sure.
one. Like Emily and I drafted up a list of like probably 20, 30 movies on the first day to be like, what do we want to cover like right now? And like I really feel like one of the first ones was The Lighthouse. So it's taken too long, but I'm so glad we got around to it for A24 April. Credit to you.
I know.
This is credit to no one but us for any ideas happening on this episode.
I was gonna say, I'll
but
pay your marketing.
if you want to be an unpaid intern like my mom. So this rounds out A24 April. All of you out there, we love you dearly, and thank you all for sending in your ideas, your DMs. All of our information is in the description below. You are all wonderful, beautiful, stunning, amazing, and we love you. Truly, everyone who messages us or even just listens. I recently saw that we got to 100 like reviews on Spotify, I think, or maybe iTunes. I don't know, but anyone who's given us like 5-star reviews, y'all are so sweet. I think we have like a 4.9. So anyone who gave us anything below 5 stars, okay, I see you. We're trying to improve. We're working our best. I would appreciate some constructive criticism with that 3-star
Whoever
rating.
did that 3-star rating, where's your address?
And yes, stick around for an undisclosed January, February, March, April, May. Stick around for undisclosed May next week. And if I had a steak, I would eat it. I would not fuck it. 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 Eat it.